I made these gates a long time ago. I got a video on it. Didn't have a whole lot of views, which I was a little disappointed because I think it's really cool. Anyway, I put operators on it and I bought LiftMaster. They were like the priciest ones around because I thought, assuming they were best. The first pair of actuators died in less than a year. LiftMaster sent me another pair and then they died and it was no longer under warranty. So I kind of like just hadn't messed with it. It's been broken for several years, maybe a few years. So I just ordered a new set, but not LiftMaster. Another brand is like less than half the price. We're gonna give them a shot. So I need to remove the LiftMaster control. I kind of already started on this a second ago. Now I have electricity on both sides of the driveway, so that's not a problem. But one of these cables that operates the other gate goes under, well, it doesn't go under the driveway, unfortunately. It goes through this joint. I cut it wide with a concrete saw at the time. So I'm gonna have to dig this out, fish that wire out, which is gonna be a pain in the honky. But we're gonna do it because we want new operators and they should be here in a few days. Got a delivery. It's the new gate operators. Unfortunately, it's from China, like everything else. But anyway, so now we have plenty to do. I need to straighten up my shop. We are no longer in the sunshade business, so I can get everything back in order and put all these paint cans away before we start this project. There's a chance that there was nothing wrong with this panel, but it is pretty old by now and electronics change so rapidly that I'm just gonna trash it. We'll save. So these actuators are 12 volt powered, and this thing plugs into 120 and it has this little 12 volt power supply. So we got a 12 volt supply and is unplugged. These two, one of them feeds this arm right here, the other one goes across the driveway. So I'm just gonna pull it all out and follow the wires around, see what we can do. Well, I opened up this panel, it's on a hinge, and I found the batteries. They're dated 2016 and they have some corrosion, so and they have a swollen spot, so they're probably dead on arrival. I guess I could charge them up. I don't know. Anyway, yep, this is nothing but junk. Nice little waterproof cabinet though, maybe. So I think what I'm gonna do is leave this wire that goes underneath the driveway to the other side. It's possible that I can splice into it, so I'm just gonna leave it for now. I'll leave the box for now, really. I'm just gonna throw away all this stuff and hold off until I get the new machine. This was the little infrared, or I don't know how it works, the eye that would look across the driveway and reflect on this little reflector. If it didn't see anything, it would assume something's in the driveway and it wouldn't let the gate operate. And this was a constant pain because you see we're kind of lush around here. There was always like one little bitty leaf in the way and it wouldn't operate. Of course, it's kind of got lusher in the last few years, but yeah, if your gate can detect an obstruction by the amount of amps it draws, I'm not sure how much you need one of those. Anyway, the new one I don't think comes with that, and I'm okay with that. Okay, top 10 favorite YouTube guy activity is opening boxes on the camera. All right, so this is the keypad we will put on a post so that when people drive up, they can open the gate. It's pretty stout. Feels pretty good. It's heavy. It's like there's metal in there. And it came with batteries and screws. So, okay, let's put this away. We don't need this anytime soon. And this should be some more remotes like to put in the car. Yeah, key fob. Okay, put these away. I'm sure they all have to be synchronized with each other, and that'll probably cause me to blues, but we'll try it. And now we're going to open the big box. Doesn't look like a factory tape job. It's a little disconcerting. Looks like it's been retaped or maybe opened. Okay, got foam here. This is okay. Instruction sheet. Packaging. This foam on the end is cracked.
Did you know you can now get a 4-year college degree in packaging science?
But the arm looks no worse for the wear. Here's the other arm. More packaging. Cords. Well, one long cord. I guess that's to get across the driveway. Get these boxes out of here. Oh, there's the heavy box. That's the hardware to hang it. This is the control panel, and it is like super small compared to the old one. Plastic. I'm okay with that. It came with 2 key fobs. Uninterrupted power supply. I didn't know I had that. Okay, well, this is a pleasant surprise. Battery, AC input 120, battery input 48. Solar input. I don't know what this is for. Mounting hardware.
So David, who really likes expensive things, my son, talked me into buying this set. This was $500 plus or minus with the accessories, and to replace the LiftMaster, similar to what I have now, would have been right at $2,000. So huge difference in price. There was a difference in quality, but I just want a gate operator that works. So we're going to see if we can get this thing to work and save $1,500 plus or minus.
Well, I had completely forgotten about this. The cable from the actuator does not run across the driveway. It runs over here to a little junction box, and from the junction box it runs across the driveway. And since the new actuators came with a, probably gonna have to do the same thing with these guys if the cable's long enough. Otherwise, I'm not sure what you do. Maybe just remove the cable. I don't know. But anyway, we need to undo this and I still need to pull the wire out from under the driveway. I haven't done that yet. Well, that was not a whole lot of dirt, but it was a whole lot of roots. And if that cable was good before, it's not any good now because I've smashed it with the shovel a few times. So wouldn't it be nice if I could just grab it and rip it out of that joint?
Now this concrete joint is not an expansion joint. It is a construction joint. It is concrete to concrete. And when I put the wire in there originally, I cut it halfway down a little wider to make room for the wire. But the wire can't get crushed because the bottom half of the driveway, the concrete, is touching concrete, so it can't smash the wire. If it was an expansion joint, you'd have to cut all the way through the concrete and get the wire beneath the slab because the slabs could crush the wire.
Nope. I gotta dig. It's probably all wrapped around some roots. Oh well, but it came halfway out. Okay, the old cable is out all the way to the box. Now let's remove this box and see about mounting the new box, roughly the same place. Hopefully the exact same place. Well, I was able to use one of the original plastic hangers in that hole, but this one's too far out. And these are too far down, so I'm gonna have to drill. I'll drill one more. The little thing doesn't weigh but 2 ounces. Okay, I see a problem already. The other gate opener, the fancier one, the cylinder is actually operated off of 12 volts, which is supplied by those 2 batteries, which were kept charged by the power pack in the cabinet by 120 volts. So if you lost 120 volts, you still had the batteries that would open it and close it a whole bunch of times. I don't remember how many. This panel operates off 120 volts only, and it's going to be powered by this receptacle, which is tied in with a bunch of receptacles in the patio. So if somebody turns off the switch to these receptacles because they're on a switch, I'm going to be able to open and close the gate. So it looks like I'm going to have to fork up some money for the for two 12-volt batteries. It's a 48-volt system, but they did send a little controller thing with it, so I'll have to put that on there, I guess. I might as well go get it and see what I have to do to hook it up. But anyway, should be hooking up wires soon. Okay, panels hung, nothing wired. I got my first cable up in here for this actuator, and the cable's pretty short, so it's probably not going to get buried. Unfortunately, the actuator will not fit over the existing hardware because this is too thick to get in that crack. So I guess the new ones are, yeah, the new ones are a little bit thinner. So, will this be able to stay? I don't know. Well, let me take this off and just swap this little arm for now. Okay, no part of the new brackets will fit any part of the old brackets, so that's got to come off. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna punt right now on this. I need to get this cable across the drive so I can get all this dirt cleared up before, yeah, that's gonna be my next step. I gotta go find something to get the dirt out of that crack. Well, I'm a little disappointed in my Topens people. For one thing, the cord coming off that actuator is so short, I can't reach my control panel. Well, if I come straight, I might can. And then the cord to go across the driveway, this actuator is rated for 14-foot gates, double. So that's 28 foot. I just have 7-foot leaves, and I ran it. I know I gotta go a little bit out of the way. I'm out of cable right here. That's it. I'm gonna have to put, I guess, my junction box right here maybe. Yeah, a little disappointing. But anyway, I spared you the view of me crawling on my hands and knees, shoving that wire down in there with my fingers. I do have a little bit of pride. So I need to close the gates, and I need to get the drawings and see what the dimensions need to be to make this thing work properly. Okay, I'm having a hard time here. I want the gate to open up past 90 degrees, like maybe 95 or so. Just a little bit past 95. In order to get that, I need this B dimension to be roughly 22 or less. Now, B is from the center of this point to the center of the hinge. Yes, so what I have here, even with this bracket swung all the way in, what I have is, I have like 28 centimeters or 26 centimeters. At 26 centimeters, the closest I can get is 90 degrees, and that's with A at 10 centimeters, and I'm at no centimeters. So yeah, I got a problem here. This thing doesn't fit my I gotta do something. Let me think about this. Right now, it doesn't look like it's gonna physically work. Well, my little battery-powered 6-inch chainsaw gave up the ghost. About 6 months old, but it's cut many hundreds of Chinese tallow trees, so I got no problem ordering another one.
So the next few clips are of me struggling to make this thing work, and I'm keep trying to use the dimensions in the instructions, and it was all a big waste of time because it wasn't going to work. The big problem is that my gate post situation is different from what they had envisioned. I have a brick column, and I have probably 14 inches between the hinge and the mounting surface if you use the way the dimensions are drawn on the instructions. So I was trying, but it wasn't going to work. I ended up doing something totally different.
So I took a lunch break, and when I came back, the sun was hammering over there, so I came over here. I cut the vines out the way. Probably gonna have a big old dead spot on my vines because I cut two big ones that were right there. But anyway, I got a plan. I'm going with this. The B is the 22 centimeter, and the A is the 12. It's kind of particular. From 10 to 12 centimeters, it drops 4 degrees. Now I could go a little more, and then it drops down. That's kind of weird. So I'm trying to get 12. So I made a little right angle jig, and I got it clamped to the gate, centered under the hinge, and I measured over 12 centimeters, and that puts it on this inside mark. So I need to line that hole up with that Sharpie mark on the left, and put a Sharpie mark on here and drill a hole for my anchor. I bought some new anchors from the Home Depot. Let's do it. And of course, neither one of those holes caught very much, which is kind of sad. Let's see. Nope, they both stripped. I'm gonna have to do some, I don't know, some sort of chemical anchor, or yeah, that's not gonna hold anything. Darn it. So I'm kind of snake bit. I went and drilled 2 more holes in the steel, and I put in the 2 1/4-inch anchors that were holding the original one for 15 years or whatever. And this one didn't hold anything, but this one's really tight. So not too much, not too much, not too much. This one's holding good. I think after I get everything working and it's going to be where it's going to be, I'll take them out and put some epoxy around those bolts and put them back, and they should be okay. It's not a huge amount of tension on them. It's mostly shear. It's mostly shear press. So anyway, I'm going to take them out and put some epoxy on them at the end if everything else is copacetic. Okay, I got some shade now, so I moved over here, put my square on, and measured my 12 centimeters to the hole, to the board, and I got a mark here, and this is in a solid brick, so hopefully at least this first one's going to hold better. The bottom one's in the mortar. That's not great. Don't have squat. Don't have squat. All right, we got 4 screws and none of them are holding. But in the aggregate, they hold okay. They'll hold until I can get some epoxy on them. Isn't that something? I had these 2 little screws here and here forever. They never let go. So I said, well, I've got to go buy some new screws. Maybe I'll get some bigger ones. They'll hold better. They didn't hold, and I put the little ones in. They don't hold either. A little bit frustrating. I tried out a new trick on the opposite side, and it worked. I just cut a zip tie in half, shoved it in there, and then put the bolt back in. And it tightened it up so much. I almost feel like I don't need to do it with epoxy, but I will. But this will hold it steady until I get everything working, and I'm real confident about the location. So just screw this in, and the other one I was able to pry down on it pretty hard. Hopefully this one will work as good. I got my helper right here.
So now I'm trying to compensate for the brick offset being so large by making the other pivot offset larger, but I just got confused on the measurements and it didn't work.
Back from the center of the hinge, and this little deal, and the only position I could make, watch this cat jump through here, boing. I would like to get it a little closer, but it doesn't really matter, it's cool. So I dropped the arm, I stretched it all the way out because this is going to be its maximum position with the gate closed. I squared off of the gate with my little square jig, put a mark, put this temporary deal, and measured my 22 inches from the back face, because that is where the hinge is, and that gets me right here. Boing! So I need a bracket that's going to look like this. And luckily, these two things came with the kit. Now these are for if you have a gate that opens out away from the bracket. You'll need these, but I don't need these, so I have these. I can make two arms that stick out much further than the old arms. Of course, they're not in the right spot, and they wouldn't work anyway, because this is calls for one plate, and this had to anyway. So before I do that, though, I'm going to pull this string from one hinge support to the other to make sure this is copacetic and this lines up. And I don't know why it wouldn't. I think even if it doesn't, it's still in the right spot, but I just want to make sure. Okay, I did that wrong. The B dimension, the 22 centimeters, is not from the pivot. Yeah, it is from the pivot point to the center of the hinge, and I just measured from the pivot point in, and that's where I got this. So I measured from the pivot point, which is the string, and I measured in, and I got this mark. But it really is supposed to be from the pivot point to the center of the gate hinge, which I can't get that. So if I go from the gate hinge, which is on, if I go from the gate hinge, which in this case is on the back of the steel, and come out 22 centimeters, I get this one, right? No. What's happening? So measure from the center of my actuator back 22 inches. I get this line. And if you'll notice, this little bracket sticks out proud of that line, and also half of the thickness of the gate, which they don't reference. So if I give an inch or so for half a thickness of the gate and put this here, this is going to be my center line right here. But I don't know if that's going to work because I'm not doing it like the drawing. So I'm gonna drill a hole in this wooden thing and try, and I'm gonna undo the lock on this so it can freely pivot, and I'm just going to pivot it and see what happens. See if I have the range between all the way out and all the way in, and if it does, then I'll fabricate one of these, but that far off. Yeah, well, a lot of unknowns here. Whoa, not even close. It's not even close to 90 degrees. And I don't know if this thing's gonna work or not. Okay, let's keep trying. I'm gonna drill another hole farther. I'm gonna drill a hole so it'll open up all the way, and then see what I have to do to move the block to make it close all the way. So this is my 90 degrees plus a scunch just to get it clear of the driveway. And this is where the operator ends up. So I'm gonna need to slide my block that way and drill another hole. So I've got a hole drilled, and I moved my pivot to where it'll open all the way, or open enough. It's a little bit less than 90, but that's good enough. But now when I go to close it, the arm is not long enough, and that's all she got. Dang, I'm not sure what to do. So the problem I'm working around is this closer is designed to be mounted to the post that the gate pivots on, not a brick that's a foot off. So the gate is mounted to a steel post. I dug a big hole, I put a steel post, I welded these galvanized anchor bolts sticking out of the steel post, and then we laid brick around it. So the gate is hanging from a post, but it's not accessible. See the broken bricks up there? When we had the houseboat moved out of the driveway, the guy nailed the gate, and I guess they had a little flex and it broke the brick, but the steel post is still exactly where it was because the gate still shuts right. So anyway, I'm off track here. I got to do something different. Well, I thought I was going to outsmart it by putting another movable leg in the system, but no. Everything I did, it either will open all the way or it will shut all the way, but it won't do both. I just fell off, but trust me, it don't work. So we're gonna go to plan E, and I'll show you what that is. I got it. I think I got it. I had to turn the operator around,
So the fat part of the operator will clear the brick.
which is gonna make the cable too short, but I can splice it because I got all the old cable to splice it with. But now I got full open plus a little bit, and I got full, no, I'm sorry. I got full open plus a little bit. Well, I'm gonna have to chip a little bit of brick to get 90 degrees. I can do that. And now I got full close. All right, so I gotta make 2 brackets. This one and that one. That one I can make out of that existing bracket. Now this gate's a little different than the other one. This is close to 3-inch offset. The other one's 2.5 inches. I don't know if that's gonna be a deal breaker. But anyway, at least I got something to work toward. I'm gonna make this bracket to replace this block of wood. Yeah, this is gonna work, I think. I hope. Let's see. It's gonna look funny though with the operator on there backwards, but I guess it doesn't make any difference. Okay, so if I use one of these brackets, drill the hole here for this, cut this excess away so we can pivot, and put it center line of this screw, which is that Sharpie mark. I think it'll work, and I have extras of these, so if I booger it up, I got 2 extras. Well, counting the originals, I got 4 extras. So I'm gonna go drill this hole. I got to get that right pin for that thing, because there's 2 different pin sizes for some unknown reason. The one on that end is not the same as the one on this end. Get the right pin size and go drill some holes, go do some metal work. Okay, I'm getting in deep on this thing. There's gonna be no returning it now. So first of all, I had to cut the excess off of this flange, which was no problem. And then I drilled a couple of holes to get a hole big enough, and somehow the bit had wandered too far that way, which put this in a bind. So I had to oversize the hole to alleviate that. And then this right angle was getting caught. This right angle here was getting caught here, so I had to round that over. And then it wasn't, the opening here is not big enough for this steel because it's a little heavier. So I had to file the inside out. Luckily it's aluminum. Then I had to cut these little corners off because there's a little thing in the middle that was catching on, but I think I have it now. Watch. I have 180-degree movement both ways, so I think I have a bracket that'll work. I'm probably got to chip out some brick for this little, well, that goes on the bottom, but I'm still gonna have to chip out some brick, and I'm okay with that. And then I got to make a bracket for the other end, and then for the other hinge, hopefully it'll work also. What a fiasco. If I'd only known in the beginning, I probably would have just shipped this thing back, but I had everything open and spread out and started wiring, and I really wasn't in a good position to send it back. I'm gonna put some paint on this. Modified bracket is on with 2 of the original 1/4-inch concrete anchors, and it is rock solid. It doesn't need any more anchors. I'm not gonna put these big ones in there. So I'm gonna go get a chisel and a grinder and go ahead and cut some of that out just to get a little clearance, and then start looking at this bracket and what do we need to do for it. Okay, let's do a test run. Fully open.
I keep getting confused between the actuator being open or the gate being open. They're opposite.
Oh, I'm sorry, fully closed to fully open. That's as far as I can get, but that's past the drought. So that's pretty good. And my limiting factor is it touches right there. So I need to adjust it where it won't touch that probably. And I chipped out the brick. That was really easy. So now I need to make a bracket more or less like that one, but just a little or put a spacer behind it. That might even be easier. Let's see. Let me think about this. This might be the easiest one yet. So for starters, I got to cut that little corner out because all the way over it gets in a bind. Something I can't really see what it's getting in a bind with, but it's definitely getting in a bind. So I'm gonna cut that corner out and come back, and hopefully I can just put a spacer behind this thing. Well, that was easy. I took the new bracket that's actually supposed to be there. I cut a relief notch because it was hanging up in there, and I have a little block of aluminum for a spacer, and it works. I just need to drill that aluminum to match these two holes and find out what kind of fastener I'm going to use. Whether I'm going to try to through bolt it or drill and tap it or what. Let me go see what kind of bolts I got. Yeah, that one went smooth. Now that I've done one side and I know what's going to work and I know what I did, and I know what I did, then this one's going to be so much easier. And I did realize that the existing brackets, the old brackets, are a little thinner metal than the new brackets. So I'll have to do a lot less filing on this. On this bracket, all I need to do is cut this little corner out and drill 2 holes here and get 2 of those tech screws and bring it out there. Already got the drill out. On this one, I need to file the inside a little bit. I don't know if you can see it. There's like a raised boss in there. If I can get half of that to go away, then this will fit in there. Mark it, cut out the excess, grind it, spray it with some primer, and we go mount it. Yes. After a day and a half, I have one actuator bolted down. Pretty incredible, huh? So the slab for this brick column is about a brick and a half higher in elevation than the slab for this one, and I guess I was just matching ground elevation at the time, which was the right thing to do. But anyway, I may end up with a conflict with that slab and the bottom of the actuator, so I may have to chip the brick. I may have to cut a little piece of that corner of that concrete off, but whatever I gotta do, gotta make it work. Okay, fully closed and fully open. And actually, these gates are opening wider than I could ever get the old system to open. So yeah, pretty happy, assuming I'm gonna be able to adjust them to make them work. But they seem to be within the range of the actuators. So I'm gonna drop this pin right here. Take this off and close the gate. Oops. Put the 2 screws in it, and then okay, well, once I closed the book and just winged it, wasn't so bad. Got the operators on after almost 2 days just to put the operators on us, because I kept trying to do what the book was telling me and it wasn't going to work. Now you need to terminate some wires. I'm going to have to put my little junction box that was on this wall, that is on this wall, maybe on this wall, because the wires are so short. And then this one, I'm going to have to add a junction box because the wires are not long enough to reach the control panel where I put it. And I guess I could have put it here, but I wanted it kind of hidden back there. So turning the control arm around complicates the wire, because typically it's fixed on this end. So when you swing it back and forth, the wire length doesn't move. But now that it's the other way around, the wire is going to get longer and shorter depending on where the gate is. So hypothetically, the wire that crossed the driveway can reach up here, and the actuator wire can reach up here. So let's swing the gate 100% open. I want to see what that wire does. Oh, okay. That's a non-event. I'm gonna put the box. I'll put this junction box right here. We'll make up the controller wire. Right now, I got it tied wrapped to a vine, and the driveway wire. Make that up, and I can cover all this dirt up and be done with this side. Okay, so the driveway crossing wire is protected by a piece of PVC when it comes out the ground from string trimmers or whatever. And the controller wire, I don't think it's going to be an issue. They both go in here, and they're tied together, and the box is secure. And I'm going to close this up, clean this up, and we're going to backfill over here. We're through over here with everything. So this is the original LiftMaster box where the control panel was in. It's a waterproof box. It's plastic. I needed a box to put my 2 batteries in to get 24 volts. So I know it's like way oversized, but actually the batteries fit. They must have been some sort of standard battery size. This is where the old batteries were. And I got them in here. I got them wired in series, so I'm putting out 24 volts, and I put a little strap across here, just, I don't know why. And yeah, so this will fit behind the brick wall. I know it's like way too big, but I got it. It's waterproof and it'll fit. So we're gonna use it. I'll take the batteries out, and we'll go mount it, and then we'll hook it back up again. All right, it's a new day. I've got to run this. Well, I got to add a box on this wall because this cable won't reach much more than here. And then I'm going to put this conduit in the ground and run another cable around to tie into the box. So I need to dig back that little dust I put in there. Shouldn't be hard. I don't even need anything but my gloves. I got to be careful because the driveway wire is down there. So I can't like just start digging with a shovel. Let's dig that out. Okay, battery box is back on the wall, just higher than it used to be. It used to be the control box. Got my 2 batteries in. I got them wired in series, so I should have 24 volts on this end. Got these wires cut different lengths so they can't accidentally touch each other. Yesterday I glued some wire mesh here so I could have a little bit of vent. This is where one of those big compression fittings went through. Well, 2 of them. So I can have some vent. I covered up 2 more holes with 2 bolts. That's it. I can close this box up. I do have a loose fitting here. I probably put some caulk in it or something because this fitting is for a much bigger wire. And if there's a hole in a box or a pipe or anything, the wasps will find it. So I'm trying to seal it up from the wasps. Moisture shouldn't be a problem, but it's just bugs. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so I got the wire from the actuator run into the box, and I got the wire that goes around the corner run into the box, and I got them made up. And unfortunately, the color code is going to change a little bit, so I'm going to have to make a mark of that. If somebody working on this at a later time, they won't know that. But the wire is good. I can open all the way. I can close all the way. Nothing's going to get in a bind. So this is what the power supply is telling me. The one on the right is the load out. That's this one. And they expect you just to plug these 2, this one and this one in and let it hang like that. I don't really like that. The one in the middle is the battery in. And again, they got spade plugs to plug out here, but I want to run a wire directly into these contactors or that connector. And solar in. I'm not going to have solar, so instead of just the instructions say just let them hang, but I'm going to undo them and get them out of here. So I don't like all these wires hanging like this. I've got the close position lined up pretty good. The pins are lined up, the holes are lined up so I can drop the pins in. It's kind of hard to tell exactly because there is a little slop everywhere. But now what I'm going to do is do the open, which will be the short stroke. So I'm going to swing this over here. Close it up. Okay, not bad for first try. This one overswings just a little bit, so I need to shorten up on the stroke. This one seems to be fine. Yeah, one thing that was messing with me earlier when I was trying to adjust them is with this unpinned, these things tend to turn. And if you turn it the wrong way, it changes the adjustment. Obviously, it's part of the screw mechanism. So I kept having to go back and forth until I figured out what I was doing wrong. But anyway, we're gonna shorten the stroke up on this one. Not very much. Try them again.
I guess it's time to close out this video. Thank you for watching.